everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable. I'm very lonely here in the studio, as you can see. George is not here. I got Rick on video from Ohio. I have Patrick Frase on video from Las Vegas. I mean, he's only a couple of miles from here, but you know, when you achieve such stature as Patrick Frase has, if he doesn't want to come in the studio, he says, "Hey, Aaron, listen. I need to just video into it. Who am I to argue?" And I'm crazy on video. Hopefully George will join us. But regardless, I want to thank each and every one of you out there for joining us today. We have a great show today for the Roundtable. As I mentioned, I got Rick Upchurch there. I have Patrick Frase in the middle for Block Hollywood Squares, for those who don't know what that was about. Thank you for watching on Facebook, whether it's on the Roundtable channel, whether it's on the WWDBTV Facebook page, YouTube, the same thing. If you're driving around town, like right here, it's 4 p.m. Pacific. People may be getting off of work a little early. If you're back east, 7 p.m. By the way, back east, everybody out there, please, for the life of God, please don't go outside. You'll see 9 months from now, we're going to have an explosion of babies because nobody's going out tonight. But anyway.
And they're duct taping up all the windows and doors.
That's right. They're duct taping everything. But anyway, please be careful back there. My daughter works on Broadway. She's out in there. My sister's in Jersey. My daughter in Virginia is being affected. And I heard today someone at my school, they have family in South Carolina that's getting it. Please be careful. But regardless, it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So hopefully you're home enjoying dinner, watching us. And of course, if you miss anything about today's show, you can go back to watch it on Facebook, YouTube, or Roku. Download the WWDBTV channel to the Roku streaming service. Not only will you watch the Roundtable and all the shows we've done, but you will be able to watch as many of all the other shows as you want. I'm just trying to stall to come up with another word, and I couldn't come up with one, John. Cool hat, yes. Our new wardrobe. Rick, you're not here to get your uniform.
I know. Well, you showed me, you sent the email over and I saw it, and I said, oh, my goodness, we are going to be big pimping, big dog. Hey, we've reached the mountaintop. Now we're going to the other side, man.
We're going somewhere. I don't know where yet. But anyway, that is right. So we have our new Roundtable show stuff. Hopefully at some point if we get our website up and running, maybe we'll make some of this available. But right, John's got his on behind the desk back there over all of his clothes. He had to put it on. George, well, he was supposed to be here to get his, so that ain't happening. So you could, right, he'll get his. But yeah, so the hats and the shirts, they look really good. Thank you.
So does that make us official, Aaron? We're official now, right?
Official what? That's the question.
We're official bull crappers, right?
Yeah, there you go. See?
Okay, hey.
I mean, you're really branded, gentlemen. You're really branded.
We're branded, okay. Don't you worry about that. Anyway, so it does. You know what? This way, when we go out and meet people, we're on the show. We look uniform. We look like something.
That's
right. But we look like something. Anyway, 702-992-3207 is our number. If you're watching the feed, please make sure you go to the bottom of the Facebook chat room. Hit that little arrow, if you would. It'll share it wherever you want it to go, to specific people, to your timeline, or groups as well. All right. We have. Let's see. I think I just got a message. No, I didn't get a message from George. He'll join us whenever he can. All right. So first and foremost, Mr. Rick, how has your week been since we last met here? And what are you doing in Ohio?
Well, I came back home naturally to visit family, but also my uncle, who was an outstanding football player. He went to Fort Valley State down in Georgia and played his sports here in Toledo at Toledo Libby. And he was very, very good, guys. He was a very good athlete. And so when he went to Fort Valley, he made the All-American team down there for their football team. And so, the African-American Legacy Hall of Fame is going to honor him this weekend. So I came back here for that.
Right on.
To honor him with the family. But then also just to come back, man, and take a little time with my family, my mother, my brothers, my sisters. And, anytime you come back home, it's like Dorothy, man, click your heels, come back, man, and you're in the land of Oz. So, anytime I come back home, I just love it. And everybody should do that. Everybody should take the time to go back home and reconnect with their family, their friends, because that's all we got, right?
That's right. As the saying is, absolutely. I'll be doing that in July. My wife got me tickets to go see a Yankee game at Yankee Stadium for Father's Day, so we're going out in the middle of July. Now I'll be able to say I've seen a Yankee game in both the old stadium and now the new one, so I'm excited about that and a chance to visit with some folks.
Right.
Patrick, how have you been overall since we last spoke with you?
Well, I'm very well otherwise. I mean, I've been very, very busy. Say, I want to ask you a question about that museum. Is that museum in Toledo? The African American Museum you're talking about?
Yes,
the
it
Legacy
is. It's in Toledo. The Sports Hall of Fame is down on Dorr Street and Collingwood. That's right down in the heart of Toledo. And
okay. Yeah, I've been to Toledo once. I've been there once, so I'm kind of thinking, well, where about that would be. So yeah.
Well, we're right there on the Maumee River. We're right on the tip of of Lake Erie. And let me tell you, some good fishing going on here, man. A lot of boating. It's just beautiful back here. Everything is green.
Right.
The contrast between Las Vegas and Ohio is totally different, folks. Believe me. I love it here. I just absolutely love it. I don't have to put on as much lotion, because
right,
man, I get dry and ashy. I can write numbers on my body and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I come back here, gang, it's just comfort, and I'm back with the people, man, that really knew me when I was just a kid.
I understand. I'm from the Midwest too. Actually, I'm from Green Bay. I'm from Green Bay. So,
right.
In fact, and Aaron, you just said this. Going back, my mother just turned 93. She still lives in Green Bay. Here's what I'm on the works, gentlemen. You probably know the 2025 NFL draft is going to be in Green Bay. It made it on this. It'll be Detroit, then Green Bay, and I'm going back to play because there's going to be millions of dollars. I'm going back to play with a couple old bands that I used to play with in Green Bay while that draft is going on. I'm going to be back in Green Bay while they're doing that here in a couple of years.
Wow, that's awesome.
I lined it up. It's going to be kind of a fun thing. You know what? I might even we have to talk here, and I could do a remote like from Lambeau Field or something like that to you. That would be cool.
Better yet, why don't you pay for us to travel out there with you, and then we'll
Okay. You can hold my drumsticks, Aaron.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, Patrick, I had the opportunity to represent the Denver Broncos back in 2015. I did the announcement of our draft choice, right?
Yes.
And that was one of the most outstanding experiences I've ever had.
I'll bet.
They put together a great program, talking with the young guys, talking with Goodell, talking with all of the heads of the NFL, being around all the former guys and telling a bunch of lies and a little bit of the truth. It's the best thing in the whole wide world, man. So if you get the chance to do it, man, you do that.
Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to be back there. And one of the things, there was a gentleman who is a big Packer history buff, and he just finished a book on Jerry Kramer. And I'm looking forward to meeting him back. He'll be back there those days. He has a brand new book out on the life of football and what he did when he was with the Lombardi era. So that'll be interesting to hear that. And that'll be a good thing. Hey, one other thing I want to say before I get off of this. Aaron, you asked me how I've been. I like to do kind of like little research things of what's going on in the community here. Right. And I found out, this is for you, Aaron. I think you got to go. There's going to be at Spring Mountain Ranch State Park coming up next week, a bat walk where you can go at night and walk around and see and hear all the different bats that are there at Spring Mountain Ranch. I thought of you. I think you must go with your cape.
You're bad, man.
We used to go to the plays up there. They used to do the shows up there, and they still do. And there were many a nights we were up there in our nice little chairs, nice and cozy and comfortable, when all of a sudden something swoops down on you. Okay, I've been there, done that. I have no interest in seeing the live ones like that. No, thank you.
Okay, Batman.
Hey, gang, let me just do this real quick, okay? Where I'm staying with one of my great friends, high school friend. He's like my brother in that. His name is Roger Thomas, right?
Yep.
And Roger is a Green Bay Packer fanatic. He loves the Packers. So, hey, Roger, Love you, man. I know he's watching. We love you, Roger.
Well, is he with you there somewhere?
Yeah, he's in another room. Yeah.
Oh, then he's
with you, Roger.
is he yelling "Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go"? Is he yelling it out there?
He probably is.
No. Go join Rick. It's okay. We want to meet you because
Okay,
now,
Roger, come on in. Come back here, Roger.
come on.
So they can see you, man.
While we're waiting for that, let me just let everybody know that we hope to still do America Speaks later on if George is able to join us. But Patrick is here for a couple things. Number one, he's going to update us on that bill that he talked about the last time he was with us, which was the medical tier payment coverage stuff. And I don't remember the exact verbiage, but he's got an update on that. And then the other thing I asked him to talk about was it's been in the news that everybody's all excited about 2 studios that are proposed to come to Las Vegas. Well, Patrick shared with me, and I have the link on my phone. There's some dramatic news if you missed it last night regarding the studios. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about the A's game and the A's coming here. Oh, there he is. Is he where? No.
Oh, yeah. Go Pack.
I think it's commercial time. Thanks for joining us there. No, I'm only kidding.
Hey, I'm the guy that showed Rick how to do everything
Oh,
on the football field.
I got you. Okay. It's funny how we never mentioned that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And he forgot all about it.
He
Wow.
just slipped his mind.
I don't get to see a Packer fan sitting in Toledo too often. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Are you originally from that area, Roger?
Oh, yeah. Me and Rick grew up together, probably a mile away from each other, and played football and sports through high school. And as we've gotten older, I remember going out to Denver several times. And one time, Rick has an outing at one of the golf courses out there. What, Wolf Creek?
Yeah, Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek. And so I'm flying out to participate in it. And as I walk in, they're in an auditorium, and there had to be a couple hundred people in this golf outing. And so here I walk in the back door, don't know what I'm walking into. And Rick's on stage with other people, and he sees me. He says, a lot of you people don't know that I've got a twin brother. And he just walked in the door. Well, then he invites me up on stage, and as soon as they see me, of course, my tan's not as dark as Rick, so
No.
but they saw the resemblance a little bit.
Oh, sure. Take your hat off. Take your hat off.
Yeah, our heads are the same.
Now I see the resemblance.
Yeah. You don't have to goatee, but our wives get us confused all the time.
Oh, I can understand that. But right now, speaking of confusion, if anybody's going to tune in right now and they see you on the air with Rick Upchurch's name.
Well, we do look alike, though.
Right, I can. Yeah.
Where's the Denver hat? I wear the Denver hat on.
Separated at birth.
Yeah, separated at birth, like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. There you go. Oh, except again, I'm the better looking twin of the two.
Somebody has to be.
Yeah.
I get it.
So my dad was a Packers fan. That's how I became a Packers fan. And I heard you talking about Jerry Kramer, and I remember being fun watching that game. You know where he made the block to get Bart Starr in to win the game, and I've never been to Lambeau Field.
Whoa! Wow!
That's on my bucket list. I'm one of those guys, and Rick cusses me out all the time, but I work.
Join the club on that, by the way.
Yeah, so I work 7 days a week, and I'm a workaholic. I've got my Toledo shirt on. We played football together, and again, I went to Toledo and tried to play for a couple of years and got beat up pretty bad. And so we sit here and tell lies and talk about all of our injuries every time he comes into town. And here I have friends all over northwestern Ohio and Toledo, and I may see him once or twice a month and talk to him once or twice a month. Rick's either in Vegas or Colorado. For all these years, we talk every week.
Right on.
He may be watching a football game or watching a baseball game or golf, and he'll call me up and say, "Did you see that putt? Can you believe he missed that putt?" So, we communicate back and forth, and we've just been close forever and ever. So
well, that's great. Sometimes you don't have to speak to people every day, that when you do pick up the phone, no matter what the time difference is in between, you know that you haven't lost anything. Yep. One last question, then I'll let you go back to hiding, Roger. Since you live in Toledo, I'm a big MASH fan and loved Klinger. Is there anything there in Toledo that honors Maxwell Q. Klinger?
Tony Packles is the biggest claim to fame for him, and you heard it all the time on MASH, and there's 3 or 4 of them around town. But if you're in Toledo and if you want to go to the original on the east side. But Toledo, Toledo every year is voted one of the top zoos in the country. And you see programs like Tampa. I have a condo in Tampa, and Tampa Zoo has a show on TV. And I've been to several zoos, and I'm telling you, their zoo is one of the best zoos in the country. Their museum is second to none. So the Toledo Art Museum is tremendous. And then a lot of people come in town, and we'll take them downtown where the river runs right through the middle of town. There's taxis that you can take, boats, and there's hotels. Right downtown, you have the Walleye, which is sold out. The hockey team is sold out every game. The Mud Hens right downtown, right on the river.
Walleye fishing.
And what Rick's talking about, the fish, you know, even
though he's broken 2 rods.
Yeah, and they're my rods.
Yeah.
But they come from all over the world, right?
Yeah. So, but there's people, the walleye run in the spring, the banks, you'll go over any of the bridges and you'll look down the banks and you'll see people for miles and miles and miles. They come from around the world, and it's pretty amazing. But Toledo is a gem, really, and it was just voted. It was in the paper, one of the best places to retire in the country.
Wow.
One of the best places to retire. So very, very affordable, and a beautiful city. We're right on Lake Erie, and I was out on on a boat on Lake Erie a couple of weeks ago. You have the little islands out there with all the different restaurants on them. Fresh fish, pickerel, walleye, perch. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
I spent 2 years in Erie, Pennsylvania. My first 2 years at Penn State up there, and one of my roommates had family in Toledo.
Yeah.
So we used to drive in. We would get into my green Dodge Monaco, which we affectionately called the green latrine. And we knew at least once a quarter, or at least, we would drive over to his family's restaurant, and we knew we would eat good at least once. So,
yeah.
Anyway, before we go to break, Patrick just donned something on his head there for you, Roger.
Well, I got my Green Bay Acme Packers season tickets in my family since '62. So I've been to those games you're talking about.
You're not going. Send me the tickets, and I'll make sure I get to it. It's on my bucket list.
Anyway, I'm going to take this hat off because I want to be putting on the Golden Knights hat pretty soon. Golden Knights.
Yeah, Rick. So when he's home, I've got to watch the Golden Knights, and I
got to go to break because I don't want to start getting hate mail that we're only talking about the Packers. So with that, everybody, if you're watching the Roundtable, Rick will rejoin us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, we'll do.
My name is Icky Woods, former NFL star, and I lost my son to asthma. Right after Javante's death, my family and I started the Javante Woods Foundation.
At Javante Woods Foundation, we are determined to spread the word on behalf of Javante. We need your help to continue research and fight asthma from every angle.
Every breath counts.
Please share this video.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality, Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
All right, welcome back to the Roundtable. You are joining us now. We're going to get cereal because that was a great way to spend the first segment chatting with Roger. Thank you, Roger, for jumping in and confusing everybody seeing Rick's name while you were on camera. Anyway, all right, let's get down to some business here. About what, 6 weeks ago, maybe, Patrick, you were with us. We were talking about that health bill. Would you please refresh everybody's memory what that bill was that we were talking about? Because I don't want to be misquoted.
Okay, very good. Thank you for having me here. Yes, so that was I just got back. I got back from Carson City a few days before that. I was up there meeting our legislators. It was SB 194, Senate Bill 194, and I'll read you verbatim here from the gentleman that sent us out the congratulatory statement, because we did make a difference. SB 194 passed. This comes from Tom McCoy, who's the Nevada Chronic Care lobbyist and representative for that organization. He goes, here's what he says verbatim. SB 194 requires certain insurers to create an online process for patients' providers to request an exemption from step therapy, which means fail first. So what in the past was, you get this med, it doesn't work. You get this med, it doesn't work. But you do know that one med that you're supposed to be getting originally would have worked, but they keep fail first. Anyway, what's going on is we've eliminated that. Certain insurers to create an online process for patients, providers to request an exemption from step therapy, fail first treatment. A win for healthcare access in Nevada. This legislative balances the cost containment goals of insurers with the insured need for access to prescribed care. A request or an appeal must be responded within 2 business days. However, if the health condition needs immediate attention, response must be received within 24 hours. If the insurer fails to respond within the timelines, the request is deemed and granted, and the prescribed medicine is authorized immediately. This bill will take effect October 1st this year, and for plans entered or to reviewed, it will be reviewed in January of 24. What I received then was a glorious thank you for ongoing interest and participation and support for this important access to care issue. And a big shout out to all the people who helped and went door to door in helping this effort. Senator Orenshaw, who's from the northern part of our state, brought the bill, and Senator Lang opened the door to get it through the Senate. So our 63rd Nevada state legislators said yes to Nevada patients to have the right to have these meds at the right time. So it was kind of a good feeling to go up there, go for this, and have a win on it.
It sounds like, though, Rick, if I heard it correct, congratulations, that's huge. But if I heard it correctly, and Rick, I don't know if you heard the same thing, that in 2024, this is up for review, which means this could only be a 1-year thing. That's what I heard, Rick. Did you hear that too?
I did.
It's going to be, yes, it will be for plans entered to, the bill would take effect October 1st, 23 for plans entered to or renewed effective January 1st, 2024. So yes, I think there is going to be a look-see at it. I believe it's going to prove itself, though, and we'll just have to see what's going to go from there with it.
As you can see, the mouth has finally joined us there.
Hey, what's up? What's up, man?
I want to know what happened to the rest of his shirt, though.
Oh, I can't even see that. Yeah.
Can you try your phone horizontally so we can fill up the box? Can we try that? Let's see if it adjusts.
How's that?
All right, never mind. No, you're sideways like you're Batman's rival. So just go up and down. Okay.
How's that? Can you guys?
You're good. No, you're fine. You're good.
Okay.
So I don't know if you heard the tail end of that, George, but the bill that Patrick was on with us about 6 weeks ago, SB 194, has passed. And now with very stringent appeal time, 2 days, Patrick, if I heard that correctly.
Or 24 hours if it's an immediate concern, emergency.
And if these appeals are not responded to by the insurance company, then they are automatically granted to the insured, right?
Correct.
That's huge.
And the prescription is filled.
That's huge.
It is.
So
it's
that's
huge. Yep.
Yeah, Rick.
I think that is outstanding because, so many people get in a fix, man, as far as their prescription are concerned. Getting them on time and getting them in when they need them, and having to go through all the bureaucracy, man, of being able to get your medications and that. So I think it's outstanding. I think it's great. I think it's going to be good for the people. I think it's going to be good for everyone to be able to have that bill passed, and I think it'll stand. I really do. I think people will like it.
Patrick, are there any other states in the country that has something similar to this already aligned, or is this something that the state of Nevada can spearhead for other states in the country?
Well, it will be spearheaded for Western states, that's for sure. There are about a dozen other states in the country, and that's it.
Okay. Wow, that's not a lot, but hopefully.
No, it's not. It is not. In fact, they've been working on this for a long time. These organizations like the Nevada Chronic Care Organization. So this is a big win. And
so let me ask you a question. What was the problem? What was the stick in the spokes that was stopping it in the first place?
Well, the insurance companies don't want to pay the big dollars to get that A prescription. Some of those A prescriptions can run anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 and more for, let's say, an injection. They don't want to have to pay that. They want to give you something else. Okay, we'll give you this pill or this injection that isn't the one that costs so much. And that really wreaks havoc on people's health because it isn't what they want or what they can use to get cured. So they were just trying to go, okay, let's play this game. Let's go, you use that, you try this and try that and try this and try that. And that's enough of that. That's what we said, that's enough of that. And let's give us what we want and what we need. And there's a lot of people out there, this is going to help them. They'll probably have to have their co-pays satisfied, which is okay when this comes around for their prescription, but that's all right. Their co-pays will help. They can take care of that because in the long run, what was coming out of pocket for some of these patients is way more than what the co-pay ever could have been.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Patrick.
George, as you hear this, and again, Patrick, I want you to chime in after I ask George this question. George, it would seem to me that with this approved right now, to me, premiums might go up. What do you think?
Oh, I'm sure they will a little bit. I'm just grateful for now, for me personally, that I don't have to worry about this type of situation. I am sure down the road, we all eventually, as we get older, will have to rely on the system at some point. So, yeah, I do believe some premiums are going to go up. Of course they are, but I am grateful that I don't have to worry about it for now. So I just hope it works out for everyone, and we'll see how it goes.
Patrick, I have a question for you back on this before we move on. So how many hours do you think you put in to working towards helping support this bill get passed? I'm just, because you spend time up in our capital city, this is what you do, you support these. So I'm just curious on this one particular bill, if you can give us a ballpark, I'm curious, how much time did you devote to make and supporting this to help get it passed?
Well, let's see. If I was twice a month for 2 years.
Oh, jeez.
Twice. I'll just say 2 hours a month for 2 years. I was on the phone talking to various organizations. So that was just that. Then the sidebar things where I attended and had to do it, actually go to the state legislators. We were doing it via Zoom because we couldn't go up there during the 2 years of COVID. So 2 years for sure. I've been doing this with a umpteen number of hours on Zoom. Actually, this last one was the first time I actually got up to Carson City because they opened it up again. I was up there for 2 days. It was a lot of and I'm a volunteer, a total volunteer. Right. Now what I'm going to do though, what I did learn, gentlemen, is I continue to do this. I was through the organization. In this case, it was the Psoriasis Foundation. There was many other organizations that were on board with this. But what I am actually going to do, I learned from this, is I'm going to become a volunteer registered lobbyist. So I will be a lobbyist. I will not be paid, but I will be registered. Actually, I can go any time up there then to Carson City with my badge on and say, what are you doing here? I'm here to hear about this and this and this. I'm a lobbyist. I want to hear about it. It doesn't have to be related even to this case.
Right.
So I learned from that. I'm going to do that. And out of this volunteer work and my hours, I'm totally happy and satisfied with it. But I did learn I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that.
So this is a year test pilot, right? To see how it goes and see how
pretty
it works
pretty
out.
much so. Yes.
Right. So
yes.
what are the measurements? How do they measure success in this whole deal?
Well, they're going to see as this comes on board now, kind of a downfall, an avalanche of all these people who have been on all these failed therapies. How soon now they're going to start getting what they need immediately. That right there will show you what the backlog is. I don't have those numbers, but what the backlog is on all these people who have been waiting off to the side, waiting to get their real medicine that they really need, who have been suffering and who have been. So that in itself, I'm sure those statistics, that information will come out. I'll learn about it too through the organization that I'm involved. We'll hear about it. And that statistic is something I make sure I'll keep. And maybe down the road, if you want, I'll let you know what happened on this, because we do have to keep track of the statistics and how it has succeeded in order for us to see when this is reviewed again. So it's going to be done. Yeah.
I think it would be prudent to keep tabs on it down the line, because other states, may want to do it and they may want to hear some of the results. Before we move on to the next thing, John has a comment from behind the desk.
Yeah, and hey, Patrick, and you said that there's approximately 12 other states that have passed similar bills.
Yes.
Do you know who they are? I mean, is this a...
I don't know offhand. I can get that information to you though, John. I can get that. I know that it has been passed to me before. I just don't have it here right now. I know I have it in my information, because I had to actually last time we talked to Washington D.C. and our senators there, our representatives, I was actually online with people from Colorado, Arizona, California. I was the only Nevada. Let's see, we had Idaho and Portland, Oregon. So all those states had people, and only 2 of those states have this also passed. So, and those are the Western states.
I think John had a follow-up statement to his question. Did you not?
No, that was,
okay. Okay.
Patrick, if you had the information easily, that'd be great. Email it to me. If you don't, it's no big deal. So,
because we can add it to the graphic when he uploads it to Roku.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to another bill that has been up in the legislature for a while. And George,
the Buffalo Bills?
No, not the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
George, you're going to want to pay a little close attention to this one. But Patrick, before we give the result, I want you to talk about the bill and then the piece in this bill that people were not aware of. And that, of course, is SB 496, which is regarding the studios that were, quote unquote, and I'm being very careful how I word this, proposed to come here to Las Vegas. So before we give what the result was, let's talk about that one piece in there about the tax incentives that I'm not too sure people knew about.
Right. I got this information from the same source of the Nevada Independent about a week ago, that this was before people like Mr. Wahlberg, who lives here in Las Vegas, and various other people that came in from Hollywood that went up to lobby to make sure that this was passed. And as we know now, it did not make it, SB 496. But what was going on that we didn't know about, we didn't know that these tax incentives, millions of dollars of tax incentives that are sitting there, that Sony or the Hughes Corporation, or that's one of the 2 locations were going to be downtown, the Summerlin area, and out there by the Durango's new hotel. They were going to build a campus there. That was also going to be connected with UNLV Theater Department, okay? Which is, let's look at it. It's a good thing, because people that come to school and want to study theater at UNLV, they brain drain and leave. They'll get out of here because they don't see a future of theater and film and everything. So in that sense, having that available to them is a good thing. In fact, one of the people that went up and lobbied with Wahlberg as a professor at UNLV, he went up there to say, hey, we want this. We want to keep those people here when they graduate from UNLV in theater and film, stay here so we don't have that brain drain going somewhere else. So in that sense, it was a positive. But here's what the positive wasn't. Buried deep in there were tax incentives, which were going to be given to Sony and Hughes and millions of dollars. But what we didn't know, and I found out, is that these tax incentives, if they didn't need some of them or it was too many, they could either sell them to whoever they wanted or give them away to others who needed tax incentives.
Wow.
We did not know this with the bill right here. This came out in a story related by the same person who did the bill, and you know the story, you have it, Aaron, who wrote the recent one with the Nevada Independent.
Yeah,
But
not
that
very, not very
that is a
transparent,
shocker.
right? Not
That-
very transparent, right? No transparency. They want to slip that under the door.
It could, those incentives could have went, though they could have went to anybody that maybe Sony might have not have needed all those incentives.
Right.
But they were going to get, okay, here's $500,000 in incentives. Oh, and Sony goes, oh, we only need a quarter of that, really. What do we do with the rest? Well, they're yours. We gave them to you. Do something with them. Well, you know, that shocked me, that part. And once again, I'm into anything that's going to help Las Vegas become unique in a way. I mean, it would have brought, it could bring jobs, no doubt about it. It could bring a plethora of other things. I even sent a side little note to George. And I said, remember that, George? A plethora. George, I even sent, I said, hey, George, what about maybe that Durango Hotel might be a place where that would be a place where they would shoot films for a hotel setting. You know,
well, you know, I've talked to a lot of local actors and producers in the last couple of weeks about all this, and I see a lot of it online locally. How part of the bill was supposed to create jobs and hire local actors and producers and directors and that kind of thing, and let them go through some training if they needed to or wanted to. And
Yes.
where the locals are worried about is that they're still going to bring in all the principal actors from LA or New York when they try to cast these big giant films. So there is a concern there for local. I mean, I've been hearing this stuff for 30 years now.
Yes.
Finally, and since Mark Wahlberg, I give him props for coming here and wanting to do what he wants to do here. But I hope it creates local jobs for actors and producers and stuff, so we don't have to go to LA. Although LA is not bad, it's still the granddaddy of them all. But it's nice to have a city like Vegas have that access, and a lot of actors now are seeing that from Hollywood. I just hope it helps the local guys.
Well,
That's my concern.
Let me just clarify the bill itself. Even with celebrities like Jeremy Renner, Mark Wahlberg, we're talking $4 billion in tax credits was part of this deal. And I'm reading this right from, I got it, like Patrick said, the WWDBTV.com information. It was intended to attract more production to Nevada, but the bill died in the Senate, which means as of now, and it will probably change down the line when they go back to the table, they'll probably renegotiate it. But as of right now, that ain't happening. There's no incentives for these guys to come here anymore. So as of right now, that bill is dead. Yeah. There can be no further plans, it sounds like, for these studios to come in unless they figure this stuff out. So,
well, there you go. There you go. That was quick.
Well, yeah, last night. They voted on it late last night because there were a lot of bills that did not get passed, including, as I segue, the A's. Okay,
yes.
We all know what's going
I saw
on.
that too. Well, I saw some of the city council and some of the folks on there discussing that, which I thought was fair. You know, why do they need all this money when they're billionaire owners? Why do they need that? You know, why? I understand certain tax incentives, but why do we, the taxpayer, have to be on the hook for all it?
That's it right there. As I was reading the article, we're talking about $300 million in public financing to help construct the $1.5 billion. And the key thing that I had read through most of this, why do they need public funding? And they did not want to back it. So as of right now, and then Patrick, you shared something with me earlier that some very important person in this city was reaching back out to Oakland, I believe, to try to convince those people to keep him there. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who was that, Patrick?
Well, the mayor of Oakland, she wants to negotiate and keep him there. The mayor of Oakland.
Right.
Yes.
So that's
Good to me.
Is that still Libby Schaff? Is she still the mayor?
I believe yes. I believe so.
my-
Yes.
She destroyed every sport in that town.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let me tell you that well, it's all about the tax base, isn't it, guys? It's about the tax base, man, in each one of these cities and how much revenue can come in off of these type of programs that are coming in, right?
well, look what was done for Legion Stadium, and I haven't been tracking their books and all this other stuff. Stadium's been open, what, 3 years now?
Yep.
Right? Have they made any payments back to the city or anything that of the loans and grants and stuff that they borrowed?
Not that I've heard.
You know, look at the Sphere that's being built by James Dolan and
Oh
MS.
yeah, they're in the red.
They were in the red the moment they signed YouTube to $10 million for them to open. Think about that.
Same.
That's a facility that houses about 18,000 seats, selling tickets at that time for a couple of $100, merchandise and food on top of that. But if you ask me, that ain't adding up to $10 million over 20 shows that they're going to do.
Plus, YouTube sucks.
Hey, and not only that, some of the contractors aren't being paid.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
I saw
The
that.
construction companies. Yeah, I saw that.
One of them sued for like $3.1 million and whatnot. So here's the thing. People think
I never understood that. The money that like that. Why wouldn't you just pay the contractors? Why? Why
because
wouldn't
I
you
bet you
just
Dolan
do it?
doesn't have the money. I bet you Dolan doesn't have the money.
That's right.
That's the problem. He doesn't have it.
And that's where you go to the community for the tax base to cover their behinds, man.
Exactly.
But don't they own the Knicks and the Mets and a couple of other?
No. Knicks and Rangers. That's it.
Oh,
But
okay.
Look how long the Knicks have been crap in the NBA because Dolan refuses to spend money. The fan base, they were booing this guy so hard he stopped going to games.
That's right.
When he threw out Charles Oakley out of the arena
That's right.
years ago, about 5 years ago, because
I remember.
Oakley was voicing his displeasure with James Dolan. Dolan had him removed physically.
That's right.
Charles Oakley is one of the most revered Knicks that ever played during that time.
Right.
People would love to see Dolan sell the team, and I don't know if there's a way to force him to do it like they did with the guy in Sacramento with all of his issues.
Right.
Sterling or whatever is Donald something or other, whatever his name was.
Sterling. That was the Clippers.
Oh, right, the Clippers. So
And then you got Daniel Snyder there with the Washington Redskins.
He's out. He sold it, right? $6 billion.
Yeah.
So he did okay for himself getting out of the way and selling it for $6 billion when he bought it for what, $500,000 or whatever it was.
Well, it's like 500 million or some real crazy number, but
so that's why the Sphere's in trouble. Okay, that's why now the A's stadium is in trouble. Which I'm not terribly disappointed because if it keeps the Trop open, those jobs will not be lost. But maybe, just maybe, these people will figure it out and go to an area like North on 15, like I've been screaming, between North Las Vegas and the frickin' Raceway, where maybe the land's a little cheaper and these $390 million tax incentives can be lower, or go south on the other side of the airport.
I was going to say south on the west side of the highway, down towards the M. You've got 1,000 acres down there. Warm Springs and Las Vegas Boulevard. That's all open, the west side.
But you know what they want to do? They want to keep everything there in the strip area.
Right.
That's the entertainment area that they want everything to come to, especially with all of the money, with all of the entertainment. They want to keep that right there, guys.
But here's the thing with going down south on the boulevard, George. You and I learned this when we sold timeshare.
Right.
That still will have a Las Vegas Boulevard address, and that land down there may not be as inexpensive as people think it will be because it is not within the confines of the 5 miles between Sahara and the Tropicana or
Right.
actually the road. It's
Right.
still a boulevard, and it's still going to cost. But
Of course it is.
if Station Casinos can build a casino out by IKEA in the Southwest, where they were going to build $1 billion studio, you tell me Major League Baseball couldn't build a stadium north on 15 where people already know how to move hundreds of thousands of people from Las Vegas Boulevard for EDC up there, or the Raceway, or that other stuff? Shame on them for not looking into that and putting this kind of pressure on the people of Las Vegas. You know what? The Fertitta family should say, screw you all. I'm going to build a casino out here between here and the Raceway. We're going to be the anchor casino. We'll build restaurants. We'll build everything you want around the 30,000-seat baseball park. We will become the anchor. If I can build down south, I'm going to build north. And you know what?
You only need like 10 acres to build a nice stadium.
Well, that's why they were only taking 935. But still, get the frig off the strip. It will be cheaper, and us taxpayers won't need $390 million to help these son of a guns. It ain't our fault that the Oakland Athletics are getting 2,000 people to a home game.
That's right.
It's our fault, and you're making us pay for it. With that, Patrick, I'm going to say goodbye because I know you're not feeling 100%. We're going to go to break and come back with America Speaks. A lot of great information with Patrick. We'll hear more from him on stuff going on.
Thank you, Patrick.
Down the line.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Keep the voice alive with this guy. We love it. We love it.
Hey, Patrick, thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
A lot of folks, man, are going to benefit from what you're doing, man, to make sure that prescriptions and all of those things, man, are done right for the people.
Absolutely. All right, with that, we're going to step aside.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
America Speaks.
All right. I like that. I like that introduction.
All right, Georgie, let us hear it, big dog. What does America want to hear?
This feels really weird being on the Zoom thing. I miss being in the studio and seeing you guys, all of us together. It's just kind of weird. I'm glad we have the technology to do it, but it just kind of feels weird. But
well, John and I were going to go home after I got your call. We were all going to Zoom in because John could do all this from home, so we figured we'd all Zoom in, but I was already here, so, you know.
So what the hell?
Right.
Okay.
All right, John.
Well, we've discussed this before. We know that this retired Marine, Daniel Penny, he's the Marine vet accused of the fatal subway chokehold, and he talks about why he stepped in to do what he did. And he said they were sitting on the subway, and this guy was erratic. He was walking around threatening people. He felt like it was a moral obligation for him to act. And I guess when he was in high school, there was a Holocaust survivor who had written a book and had given a speech at his local high school. And I guess one of the things he remembered about what the guy said was that the overall message was that he talked about how good people did nothing. So I guess that kind of stuck in his head over his life. So he decided to take action and go after this homeless guy, put him in a chokehold. Unfortunately, he passed away. And now there's two sides to the story now. Of course, the family's calling to sue the city for $20 million. It's the poor victim. The mayor's also on his side, to their family's side. It's ridiculous. And I'm sorry that this alleged homeless guy had some issues. He had been arrested over 42 times, and Daniel Penny did not mean to kill him. It was not something he went out and set out to do. He was on his way to the gym to work out. You know, he spent 4 years in the Marines, was working at 2 jobs, just trying to make it. And, you know, here's some of the comments. There's over 8,000 of them. It says, canoe maker. This is like 10 minutes ago he posted. In New York, self-defense is also known as justification. Article 35 of the New York Penal Law Code explains when individuals are justified to use physical or deadly force to defend themselves or others. That you can use physical force when and to the extent you reasonably believe such to be necessary to defend yourself. So that's what he did. A lot of people are on Daniel Penny's side here. Here's another one, Dexter01, 13 minutes ago. I definitely think charges should have been filed. I mean, his relatives allowed him to run free on the subway and the streets of the city, knowing full well that he had mental issues. They should be charged for allowing a threat such as Jordan Neely to roam freely after 40-plus arrests. What do you guys think about all this, since we're on this? What is your opinion on this? Do we call it, Al Sharpton, of course, came out, and it's a racial issue now on his end.
No. Let's keep, once again, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the racial aspect of things and that over there. This has nothing to do with race, period. Once again, the young man was threatening. But again, we got to understand there's so much mental health that's out here on the streets. A lot of folks can't recognize it. They don't know, man, if this person has a mental issue in that whole deal. Right, guys? Because you have to be a professional to understand in that whole deal. My only thing is this. Him being a professional, being a Marine, right? He understands how long he can hold on to that hold. He does, just like a police officer, right? So when he put his arm around his throat, he knew that he had him in a critical situation, right? So why don't you take your arm off of his throat and you can still apprehend him without killing him? That's the part. I don't think the gentleman needed to die. That's the only thing I'm saying. I really don't. But
John?
once again, I understand the Marine guy stepping in and saying, hey, I'm going to protect these people. But he also had a responsibility because he's trained and understand that when he put that doggone chokehold on him, that it was going to do some damage.
John has a comment, wants to slip in. John?
Yeah, and I agree with you, Rick. However, I still think the man needs to be charged. He needs to go to court. He needs to face a jury, and they will decide based on the facts and the evidence whether or not he is guilty. We do not have the ability to say he should have done this, he should have done that. Let's let the jury and the courts decide. You can't just let him walk away, right? You can't just, okay, no, that's okay. Yeah, you killed the guy. Okay, well, don't worry about it. He's gonna go through the system, and they will decide. A jury of his peers will decide whether or not he was justified or whether or not he should be charged. That's
Again, what if he had not done anything? Nothing at all. And maybe he was yelling at some young girl. Now, all these witnesses are coming out now. They're behind Daniel Penny, just so we all know. But if he didn't do anything, all of a sudden the homeless guy killed a woman on Subway.
No. What George is saying is, what if he didn't do anything at all and just let what was happening happen?
And the homeless guy kills two people.
No. But once again, look, look, the thing to me, if you're in law enforcement and it's your job to be in law enforcement, go get a badge. Go get a badge so then you can protect the people on the street. Now you're legal. But even with Eric Garner, when the police officer walked up behind him, he choked him out as well. I'm just saying, you know, when you put your arm around someone's throat or your hands on someone's throat, that you know that you're restricting their breathing. And if you hold on to it a certain amount of time, it's going to kill them because it crushes the larynx. So I'm just saying, there's different ways, man, to be able to handle that without killing him. I didn't say about restraining him, but killing him.
No, but I just for point of clarity, I think George was trying to suggest in an alternate universe, if this homeless guy was doing what he was doing, and Mr. Penny decided, you know what, I'm just going to stand here and watch it,
Mind my
video
own business.
like most
Yeah.
people do anyway. And then the homeless guy maybe attacks whoever he was bothering and kills that person. What's right or wrong? We always have the afterthought of saying, well, unfortunately, the homeless guy may have done this. I should have stepped in to help.
Right,
Just
exactly.
Hang on. But just like the things we see on social media now where things are being done incorrectly, like Rick, you were talking about, I see more people doing this before the police show up, even little simple things like when people fight at school, everybody's standing around and no one's getting involved. We've lost that ability to support each other. Now,
No, I support the guy.
Yeah, they're all videotaping now. They're all pulling their cameras out.
Right, exactly.
we've reached a society where, in this case, we have 1 out of maybe 100 people that decided to get involved, where the other 99 are going to stand around with one of these. Back in the day, before these things became prevalent, I believe more and more people were more than willing to help someone who is in trouble. Or
No, they weren't.
okay, well, it's my belief.
You know why?
You believe opposite. It's
I'll
okay.
tell you why. Do you remember? Are you familiar with what's now called the Good Samaritan law?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why that came about?
I don't recall at the top of my head,
Okay,
but I
so
remember the law. I remember.
You see a car accident along the side of the road.
Mhm.
You get out, you stop, you help that person.
Mhm.
That person dies.
Mhm.
Their family sues you for causing that person's death.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? That was the law of the land, and
Mhm.
so that's as a result. The Good Samaritan law. In other words, if you get out and you help someone, and you
Mhm.
try to, you may still have to go to court, but that's your out. And
But-
the same thing with this guy. He still needs to go through.
Oh, he'll be found not guilty. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's one word here that when and if it does go through the system, right, wrong, or indifferent, isn't there always the question about when it comes to murder, premeditated murder?
Right.
Versus manslaughter. So
Manslaughter, right.
obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but I'm going to obviously presume he was on his way to the gym. He didn't wake up that morning and say, I'm going to look for a homeless guy and choke his ass out and kill him.
They're talking
Right.
second-degree manslaughter or something. But
Right.
if they're smart, the DNA will the DA will drop this. Even in New York, a not guilty verdict shouldn't take more than 30 seconds. So I think the DA is going to drop it.
I'm going to ask you a question. Was he yelling at people?
Yes, as far as I know, he was yelling.
So by me verbally yelling at you, that's threatening you, right?
I'm not sure what they were being said, but if you're on the subway and somebody's screaming and yelling, you try to stay away from them. That's all.
Absolutely. But this gentleman jumps in. I'm just saying, in more doggone instances than not, when you have somebody that has mental illness and you don't recognize and you don't know it, right? George, you got mental illness, right? You go out down on the strip and you start yelling and things of that nature at people. Not normally are you that way because you might not have taken your medication, right?
Right. Well, apparently this guy was screaming out, I'm going to kill everybody. I don't care if I go to jail. I mean,
that's all right, but George, that's okay. That's all right. That's coming out of his mouth. I'm saying that he didn't have to die behind this.
I agree. I agree with that.
Saying. So what he should do, the Marine, he's a trained killer, right? He knows what will kill a person. He understands it.
Under
I know
duress.
if I point a gun at you and I pull the trigger, I know it's going to kill you because I know this is lethal. He knew, man, with that arm around his throat, he was going to be lethal. George, that's all I'm saying.
Can you imagine being in that position, people screaming at you, don't kill him. The other one, stop it, let him up. I mean, can you imagine the duress that you're underneath? What happens if you let him go and he pulls out a knife and stabs you 5 times real quick?
Let him go. I didn't say let him. I said
I know, or just whatever. Even
of his throat.
Right. I agree, because there was 2 other guys holding his arms down. I don't know. I guess when you're in that kind of situation, your mind's racing. Even if you're trained killer or a trained stuff, sometimes when you got all this stuff going on around you, I don't know, man. It's easy to say what we would or wouldn't do. And I agree, the guy shouldn't have died. But I also don't like the portrayal that they're throwing his 10-year-old third grade cute little picture on there, making him look like a victim instead of one of the 42 mug shots that he has. That's
He
what
had
bothers
mental
me more.
illness, George. This guy is sick. Do you know what mental illness is? That's when people, man, can't reason. They can't figure stuff out, man. And if they haven't taken their medication, because this is what I used to do, you got a guy, man, that's out of control because he cannot reason.
Where was the family and the doctors? What was going on? Was he living by himself? Was he living with his family?
We don't know that. But even regardless of that, man, why are we bringing the family and all them in? I'm just
well, I mean,
saying
eventually it's going to have to come out if he's going to go to court for it. They're probably going to bring up all this stuff.
Time out on the court. Time out on the field. Okay?
Nuggets, baby, nuggets.
We're going through a TV timeout because one of the things, first of all, these are all great points, and I wish we didn't have to end. I would love to continue this maybe next week. But one thing we have to learn when we're on Zoom, we have to listen and not talk over each other. It takes a little
I agree.
I agree.
No. So I'm sitting here listening, and I love the positions. And I'm sitting here thinking about, I hope to never, ever find out or get myself in a position where I have to do potentially what this Marine did to protect somebody else under whatever situation, whatever. Because like John said, as he tried to say, oh, what did you say about plan? Say it again.
Oh, I think Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan till you get punched in the face.
Exactly. So
three things in security. 3 things in security we've learned. I don't want to end up in the hospital, the morgue, or in jail. Those are the 3 things. So I've tried to stay. That's why I don't do the nightclub security anymore. Possibly get into an incident with that, and I just don't want to. I don't want to get myself in a situation like that at all either. So
all I want to say, and I'm going to say this just from my perspective, I can have all of those things in my head, like we just talked about, like Rick so eloquently stated. People know what it takes to subdue somebody where, God forbid, you go overboard and we have a situation like this. Like John said, courtesy of Mike Tyson, we plan to do X, Y, or Z until something else happens. I'm going to tell you something. If the 3 of us, or the 4 of us were out on Fremont Street and somebody, regardless of mental illness or otherwise, Rick, so I'm going to put that as a little caveat, I want to believe that I would step forward and protect my friends and family from something. Now, would I put him in a chokehold or not? I don't freaking know. I'd probably be yelling for Matt Mullen, who does security on Fremont Street, to get down there and handle it. However, it depends on the circumstances. I don't know what I would do. I would like to think that there would be a part of me that would realize that I have to be protective of not only the people I want to protect, but the individual that is doing something. I don't want to hurt the guy.
Right. There's no ever intention to do that. It just happens.
So all I'm saying is that we have our opinions, as America does, which is why we do this, and we're not in that position of heightened awareness, heightened situation where our brains may go kablooey in trying to protect in a situation. We don't really know how we're going to react in a situation until we're in it. Now, with that being said, watching TV and watching Rick Upchurch field a punt and saying, God, I hope he doesn't get knocked out and he's going to go score a touchdown is one thing. But if I'm Rick Upchurch and I'm in that position, man, I'm running as fast as my ass can get me to the other end without getting my block knocked off. That's what I'm thinking because I'm not in that position. With that, we are well over time. God, I love you guys. So I love what we do because
this is good. This is good for the ratings. This is good for the ratings.
I love it. Hey, man, I love debating.
Absolutely, and we'll pick it up.
You have to. You learn stuff. You learn stuff about other people when you do that.
I know, George.
If you don't let me close the show, I'm muting both of you.
I don't want to close the show. Another hour.
No, well, get a sponsor, goddammit. Right, get a sponsor.
Go Nuggets. Go Denver.
Are you back?
Right. Go Nuggets.
Rick, are you back in next week?
I'm absolutely on, big dog.
All right, so we're back in studio. George, make sure all your tires are inflated. So with that.
2 new ones. Just got 2 new ones. I'm at home now. I got it.
George, 30 seconds. Give us a bye.
Keep your head above water, guys. I wish I'd have been in the studio today, but I love all you guys. I love our audience. I miss you too, and we'll see you next week.
I think I'm changing the locks next week. Rick, you're going
to live every day, man, like it's your last. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. Be kind to everybody. Why is that? We still only have what we got with all of us. Quick reminder, tomorrow, 9 a.m., Kiwanis Connects, Governor Val and I, we'll be talking to a couple of individuals who are going to be running for international trustee positions for Kiwanis International. You're not going to want to miss that. Thank you for everybody for watching. We'll be back in studio full force. Aaron Phillips for the gang. Have a great week. We love you. See you next time right here on The Roundtable.